Point number three, the fossil record. Does the fossil record prove evolution? Now, theistic view, creation. Opposition to billions of years old Earth. When God created the physical universe, He created an all within it with an appearance of age. Adam and Eve were certainly created as full-grown adults. They had the appearance of age, even though they did not have a genuine age. Likewise, one must assume that a fully functioning ecosystem in the Garden of Eden would include mature trees that had ready to eat fruit, bushes, and the like. God has created all living things according to their kinds. The fossil record proved that all animal groups appear separately, fully formed and at the same time, not by gradual evolution interspecies. No intermediate fossils showing a transition of one species into another have been found. And the Creator would design many of His creatures with obvious similarities such as eyes, ears, nose, mouth, arms, legs, and so forth. With a similar DNA makes perfectly good sense because such characteristics are best suited for living in the similar environment with a possible food chain in which God has placed us all. Evolutionists have repeatedly tried to pass off science fiction as true science. So one thing we need to think about God's creation is that when God has commanded something to be there, He's the creator God, so it doesn't need to take a long time like, evolutionists, they believe that it would take billions of years. The old universal system should be there. But when God said that let there be light, let there be sun, let there be the moon, and let there be the stars, it was there at God's command. So it doesn't need to take like a billions of years to make all the creation. Now another atheistic view evolution point is, according to Darwinism, all living things have evolved from the same ancestor. Over long periods of time, species evolved into other species as a result of natural selection. So the fossil record should show a step-by-step progression from a simple life form to increasingly complex life forms. A step-by-step progression from common ancestor to the complex organism. But unfortunately, we don't see them today. So what about the fossil record? Jonathan Wells said this way, the fossil evidence is open to many interpretations because individual specimens can be reconstructed in a variety of ways. And because the fossil record cannot establish ancestor-descendant relationships. Philip Johnson is right in saying that the prevailing characteristic of a fossil species is stasis, the absence of change, and there are numerous living fossils which are much the same today as they were millions of years ago, at least as far as we can determine. Another point is no intermediate fossils. According to the late Harvard paleontologist Stephen Jay Gould, an evolutionist, the history of most fossil species include two features, particularly inconsistent with gradualism. He says, number one, stasis. Most species exhibit no directional change during the tenure on Earth. They appear in the fossil record looking much the same as they was when they disappear. Morphological change is usually limited and directionless. Number two, sudden appearance. In any local area, a species does not arise gradually by the steady transformation of its ancestors. It appears all at once and fully formed. All animal groups appear separately, fully formed, and at the same time. So that's not evidence of gradual evolution, but of instantaneous creation. Moreover, while apes may have a similar structure to humans, what is often overlooked is the fact that apes and humans bear almost no resemblance to sparrow, fungus, and trees. But according to Darwinism, All living things have evolved from the same ancestor. Studies in DNA and genetic indicate that a particular species has sufficient genetic potential to give rise to all kinds of variety within the species, but not to transform it into an entirely new species. No macroevolution is found, only change within the same kind, so-called microevolution, have occurred. So now we come to this summary. If evolution were true, one would expect to see in the fossil records progressively complex evolutionary forms, indicating transitions of one life forms into another. However, out of all the billions of fossils known and documented in the rocks of the Earth's crust, no such evidence exists. The British Museum of History alone contains some 60 million fossil specimens, yet not one is a transitional form showing one species evolving into another. Rather, the evidence reveals a sudden appearance of life forms, and each of them exhibits all the features that distinguish the life form fully formed and fully functional, with no evolving of a body parts involved. And also about the ape-man discoveries, we can say this. The fossil records seem to indicate that apes have always been apes and the humans have always been humans. It's a fact. Like even 5,000 years ago, the ape is now today the same apes. And all kinds of other animals still same as a long time ago. So there was no gradual evolution from one species into another. And about the discovered evidences show that Neanderthal man turned out to be not an ape man, but rather truly human. And the Java man turned out to be a real ape. A Piltdown man turned out to be a colossal horse. And Peking man turned out to be a monkey. Nebraska man turned out to be a wild pig. Lucy was apparently a chimpanzee.